Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, the City of Hazard started issuing notices to property owners not up to code back in June. In August, they started taking action, taking down a building on Memorial Drive. Now they are cracking down on a property everyone sees coming into Hazard. WYMT's Emily Bennett has more.
If you are traveling on Route 15 going into Hazard today, you may see cleanup crews at this property, which is in violation of several ordinances. Several years ago, a city engineer went around Hazard and made a list of properties in violation of code. Hazard did not enforce these code issues until now. The city sent out notices to give owners time to fix the violations. Police and Fire Commissioner Tony Eversole says some owners are trying hard to bring their properties up to speed, but others are not. Currently, they have only torn down one building, a house on Memorial Drive. This property on Route 15, they are only cleaning around it.
This place here is not really that problem, but it looks bad and it's not safe with this amount of equipment and stuff that's sitting around and the amount of appliances.
Now, Eversole tells me that they are committed to cleaning up Hazard and will continue for as long as it takes. In Hazard, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
Currently, 43 properties are on the condemned list in Hazard. The drought just keeps getting worse. New numbers out today shows the majority of southern and eastern Kentucky in a severe drought, but it's even worse in parts of the Kentucky River region. Almost all of Breathitt and parts of surrounding counties are now considered in an extreme drought. Only a trace of rain has fallen in Jackson in more than a month. You'll hear from a farmer in Breathitt County at 6. There is some good news as firefighters work to control a forest fire in Pulaski County. Firefighters now say it is about 90% contained. The fire is in the Bolt House Ridge of the Daniel Boone National Forest. Right now, more than 90% of Kentucky is under a burn ban due to the extremely dry conditions.
And that drought monitor was updated today, as Steve was saying, and it's not looking good for eastern Kentucky. Let's go ahead and take you to that. Almost all of our area is under that severe drought, and you could see Breathitt County, Perry County, really those main two counties that are in an extreme drought. Parts of Magoffin is in this as well, as with Knott County, Owsley County, a little bit of Lee and Wolfe County as well. So today marks 36 days without rain at the National Weather Service in Jackson. So yes, we definitely need some rain. And I say today marks 36 because it's safe to say we're not getting any rain today. You can see that here, satellite and radar. It's been pretty quiet throughout the day, and those temperatures on the warm side, low to mid 90s. It's now the 7th day in the row that we have been in the 90s. Yes, this marks a week, and we're breaking those record high temperatures. We've been around 93, 95 degrees. The records 86, 87. Easily say that we broke those. Not official how hot we got for today quite yet, but there is some good news on the way. A cold front arrives tonight, which means cooler air moves into the mountains. More sunshine though as we head into the next few days, but widespread rain chances are likely going to return to the mountains later in the weekend and into the new work week as well. I haven't said the word widespread rain chances in quite a while, but yes, we'll talk about that and more though coming up in just a few short minutes.
We'll take every bit we can get, Paige. Thank you. Buckhorn Lake State Resort Park is teaming up with many community partners to host a first of its kind event at the park this Saturday, and it should be great weather for that. WYMT's Madison Pergram has more.
Buckhorn State Park is a place for people to experience the outdoors, from taking in the beautiful scenery to enjoying the lake and even hiking. And this weekend is no exception. Float the Horn is an event this Saturday at the park. Experience canoeing, pontoon rides, music, and dinner. The event is raising money for playground equipment for the lower shelter at the park. And Janet Smith, president of Perry County Chamber of Commerce, says it is a family-friendly event with something for everyone.
We will have live music on the lawn from 5 to 6 with Luke Davis. From 8 to 10, we'll have Middle Fork Bluegrass group that will be performing.
Now it will be a busy evening. Cocktails on the lawn begins at 4. The buffet starts at 5, and all the fun activities will run throughout the evening. In Buckhorn, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
The registration fee for the event is $30, and that includes dinner, music, and your floating experience. The head of the FBI in Louisville is revealing some pretty jarring information. He says officers in Kentucky have prevented multiple mass shootings. James Robert Brown is a special agent in Louisville. He says there have been multiple cases where law enforcement in Kentucky have prevented mass shootings. Brown added that the number of domestic terrorism arrests has gone up, both statewide and nationwide. He says social media is making it easier for domestic terrorists to commit violent acts.
In the overwhelming majority of cases that we've studied, there was always someone in their sphere of influence that knew something. We call them bystanders. We call that the 2019 version of see something, say something. So it's more important now more than ever for those folks to come forward immediately and report it to law enforcement.
Brown also said the majority of extremist violence here in Kentucky is racially motivated. A man is behind bars after he was found with a gun inside Fayette Mall in Lexington. True Braddock was wanted for helping another fugitive avoid police on Tuesday. Police say they spotted Braddock in the mall yesterday and arrested him without any issues. His arrest citation says a gun was in his waistband. Police also found drugs in his pocket. In Paris, France, an attacker with a knife killed 4 officers at a police headquarters. The Secretary of French Police Union confirmed the attack. The attacker was shot dead. Police are investigating the motive. French President Emmanuel Macron visited the scene of that attack. Fears of a recession and global trade wars tumbled U.S. markets this morning. President Trump announced new tariffs on European goods, and Europe is threatening to strike back. The most recent trade battle stems from a complaint filed against aviation giant Airbus. The World Trade Organization ruled European countries illegally subsidized the company, making it harder for American rival Boeing to compete. Now the WTO is allowing the U.S. to impose 25% taxes on $7.5 billion worth of imported goods from Europe.
This is a move that will first and foremost hit U.S. consumers and companies.
French wine, Italian cheese, and Scotch whiskey are some of the first casualties in the looming trade war between the United States and Europe. The proposed tariffs take effect in 2 weeks. So let's look at the final numbers on Wall Street this Thursday afternoon. The Dow closes actually up. They ended up closing up today, more than 122 points. Despite emergency heart surgery this week, Bernie Sanders plans to be at the next Democratic presidential debate. His campaign spokesperson confirmed the news today. That debate is set for October 15th. Sanders experienced chest discomfort Tuesday night. Doctors treated a blockage in a heart artery, inserting 2 stents to treat the problem. It was announced then Sanders would suspend campaigning until further notice. His wife Jane says he's looking forward to the next debate. The Vermont senator is currently ranked 3rd in the crowded Democratic primary race. Straight ahead on First at 4, an American astronaut returns to Earth this morning after 6 months aboard the International Space Station.
And a dry cold front moves in tonight, but when will rain chances finally return? I'll have those details coming up.